do this kind of silly introduction. We never know when we will start officially, just to release the pressure. So you never know.
Okay.
But now you know.
May have
we will
already
record
started.
now. Yeah, I think it started. So thank you for being with me. I'm alone because still my silly co-host has. I don't know what he's having, by the way, but he has. It needs to have a serious excuse not to be here. This dickhead. Anyway, so I'm on my own with the marvelous Katie Goodman, and I'm so. I don't know. I need to check what I feel because I think I'm in love with you, to be honest. Really, seriously. No, seriously. I want to get a divorce, and I want to marry you, and I want to have your children.
We're going to share this video. Oh, good thing it's not video.
No, but I don't know how I came across your videos and songs, and I was so impressed. First reaction, I was, she's fucking good. She's really good. You're really, really good. And then I went to your website and I've seen that you were a comedian, you were an author, you were a writer, you were an actress. And this is the most amazing part, you were also a public speaker and a coach. And then and I said, okay, that's, if I was believing in God and in the universe and all this woo shit, I would say that's the universe, that's it. That's a sign from the universe, but I don't believe in that. but yeah, no, really, you're a coach and you do all this. And I'm a coach and
I didn't know that. That's great.
Huh?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm an ICF coach, so accredited, certified, all these kind of things, and shit doesn't matter. And my course over there, the Tim Brownson is kind of famous as a coach as well. If you Google him, he's kind of a top whatever. So we wanted to have you on this podcast because you have so many hats, and you obviously you have I believe you're an activist as well because you're liberal. Sorry, how do you say that? Liberal. Yeah, you have liberal like us. We are progressive. We want to fight these climate change things. We hate guns and all these kind of things. So you are welcome here in this podcast. So glad that you're here with me. Sorry, I say us, but I'm alone. Shit, I'm alone. Okay. So tell me, Katie, I'm very curious. How can you juggle all these things, from comedian to public speaker? What's your story here? Can you tell me a little bit more?
Medication, mostly.
And drugs?
Drugs. Okay. No, remarkably, no drugs. But, okay. Wine. It switches, I also run a theater camp with 250 kids in the summer, but when I'm there for 2 months in Montana, I really only do that. And then in the fall, we write a whole new show for Broad Comedy, which is my troupe, which I also then steal material from for my solo work, and we make all our videos off of it. So we do a whole new show every November. So I literally just finished that a week ago. So you have me in the very relaxed state, which is unusual. I have like a 2-week window of relaxed. And then so I try to just focus on that. But that did not actually happen this year very well because we also had a children's book that came out 2 weeks ago. So all that was happening all at the same time. And I would say as a life coach, it's not how I would recommend people spend most of their time. But I think if you know that it's limited, it's okay. But there's a lot of triage. I don't know if you know that word, but like trying to say, just... what's the priorities and then what are the priorities in terms of what keeps my life balanced too, obviously family, friends, and
But do you have time for that? Because when I look, it's impressive. How much time do you sleep a night?
Right. I'm actually a crazy sleeper. I sleep like 9 hours a night. So it's there's the one thing that I really appreciate is that I work with my husband. He writes with me. He directs with me. And so when one of us is tanking, the other steps in. So if I'm just like a basket case, he'll come in and he'll rewrite something. Or when he's just so sick of something he's writing, I'll be like, I'll take that for the day and I'll go for a run and I'll work on it. You know, I work on a lot of things. And this is not crazy multitasking type A, but I work on a lot of my music while I'm running because one of the things I pay attention to and teach is that to access your creativity, sometimes you need to get your left brain preoccupied. So that's why we always come up with ideas like in the shower and doing housework and driving, you know, because you're partially preoccupied. So I feel like it allows your right brain, and there's been some studies on this too, but, you know, kind of allows it to be more accessible. So when I run or walk or do other things, I always have like my phone or a pad of paper or something like that. It used to be a pad of paper. Now it's just a phone. I start talking into it. I'm one of those crazy people who walk and talk into my phone. But okay. But I think it's, I think, you know, someone once said to me, it's not balance. Like, that's just not the right word. It's not like, and I have a little bit of parenting and, you know, 20% of parenting, 20% of exercise, 20% of creative, you know, it's each day. It's not like that. It's like 3 weeks of working on this show and then a really good solid week of just giving my kid all their attention. And then it's just, that's just sort of how my personality works, which is constantly changing that way.
But at the same time, you're delivering. Meaning, when I say delivering, you have so much materials. You have your songs, you have your books, and I guess you're also passionate. Behind that, there's a passion. There's something behind that you know drives you to create all this, right?
Yeah. It's interesting because we do such a strong effort to create a whole new show of like 15 new songs and sketches every fall. So then for the winter, I kind of don't write for a little while to kind of recuperate. But we're editing things all the time, which is a different kind of creativity. And we're writing books and we're writing other things. So it kind of just keeps changing. And then I start performing the new stuff. Although I was performing a ridiculous amount this fall too. So that keeps, you know, and performing live stuff is so great because it changes every single time. So that really makes me feel creative. And just when I'm getting completely sick of writing, then I get to perform. It always happens that way. So that's good.
Okay. So you have your strategies, basically. You have the way that comes to you, you know. And you know, I have to say that as well. I'm a little bit jealous. Not okay. Forget that. Scratch that. Not the little bit. I'm hugely jealous.
Of which part? The creative stuff?
You know, because I'm also a musician, kind of, but a failed musician. I've released albums with I've told you that in my emails. You know, I'm very much influenced by Spinal Tap and all the comedians like Bill Hicks, Louis C.K., Doug Stanhope, George Carlin. You know, I love this. I love comedy with songs. You know, and it's a very fine art. You know, to make people laugh with a silly song, but at the same time, there's a hidden message. Which is, you know, so you push the message with something which seems very silly and very simple, but when, you know, I've tried to do that and I'm trying to do that myself, it's super difficult, and you manage to do it brilliantly. You know, I'm just. So, sorry, it's not about compliment, but I cannot stop myself to compliment you. And if I had my co-host, it would be stop doing this now, you know, be a little bit harder on her. But no, it's truly,
well, now you say, what do you play? What instrument do you play?
I play guitar. I have a Martin, Martin HD28 just next to me, and
I have a Martin HD35 right next to me. Although honestly, I'm such a shitty guitar player that I don't. Can we swear on this show?
We can fucking swear.
Okay,
look at me.
Okay, good, excellent. Well, fuck yeah. That I was given it as a gift from a friend who didn't use it anymore, and I feel like it's such a travesty because I'm such a terrible guitarist. But no, you know, and I grew up with people like Tom Lehrer. I don't know if you know him.
No.
Here, I'm gonna type these names for your show notes if you're interested.
Okay.
He's fantastic. He was like from the 60s, and he was a professor of math at Harvard, but he wrote funny songs about, the Middle East and other problems on piano. And he was very, very funny. So my dad was like a huge fan of his growing up. So you would probably love him. Another person is, you probably know Tim Minchin. He's wonderful. He wrote the musical Matilda that's on Broadway right now. But before that, I've been interested in him forever. He does a lot of political stuff. You'd also like him because he's a huge atheist.
How did you guess? Well, I'm
how
not
did I
atheist.
guess?
I'm agnostic. Okay, I'm just give the benefit of the doubt.
Right. Yeah, same here.
But
I think.
Yeah,
you said
tell
you
me.
failed, though, and that's silly, because all that means is that I think like a lot of the things that we all judge ourselves on is the platform. Like, how big is my platform and my audience? And of course, social media makes that both easier because you can get people to see your stuff where you couldn't even 10 years ago, but also harder because you're counting numbers of likes and hits and, and it's been interesting. This fall, I've been really thinking a lot about, I had some little TV things and stuff like that. And I've been thinking about whether I want to go a little bit more into film and television. And I keep coming back. I mean, if something wonderful pops up, yes. But I keep coming back to how lucky I am that I get to write whatever I want, whenever I want, and I don't have to ask someone's permission. And you don't get that a lot. Out there, that's when you're just when you're an actor,
Yeah, and especially the tone that you're having, this freedom of language. If I take the title of your songs, so it's "I didn't fuck it up," "fuck this shit," probably gay. Glenn Beck is a batshit crazy. That's this freedom of tone and freedom of which. Would you get that, everywhere else, if you were not in control of that? But I think that things are changing as well, More and more people, because of the social media that you just described, want this stuff, I think they are all sick about the tone, this very professional tone and very, how you say, I forget my words in English, but you cannot say everything what you want on TV. Right. I believe in the US you still cannot say fuck on TV, no? Or is it still the case? Or?
No, God, no. I mean, you can on HBO or something.
Yeah, that's the thing. So, but where does this? Okay, so this message that you have, right? Because I can see the political point of view that you're defending over there. Where does it come from? I've tried to look for a bio from you, but I couldn't find any. So what is?
Oh.
So maybe I'm very bad at researching, by the way, but I'm very lazy as well. But can you give you a little bit?
That's perfect for a journalist.
Absolutely. So can you give me a little bit of background about yourself? Where do you come from? What's your
Oh, that's actually probably not on there. I'm from Boston, and my background is a liberal family. My mother was a fairly successful, quite successful journalist. So she wrote columns, meaning that she wrote opinion articles. And so I grew up in a house where that was valued, one's opinion. So that was good. That helped. And my dad was a surgeon, and so he was a skeptic. So I was like from a house of total sex skeptics, right? So, and my mother's father ran for Congress. He did not win, but there was sort of a sense of a political family. And while I would never, ever, ever go into politics, I was really encouraged to go into the arts, which happens very rarely in probably most households. So I was very lucky. And then I went to the University of Pennsylvania, where I did tons of theater and met my husband in a show. And we've been working together every single day since, and have not totally killed each other yet. And and my great aunt is 95, and was married for whatever, 75 years. And she said, and she worked with her husband. She was kind of my mentor. And she said, I've never, ever considered divorce. Homicide, but not divorce. That's my favorite line of hers.
Yeah. No, I can relate.
You appreciate that?
But and then you have this background which influenced you very much, right? And but then I see also this coaching thing which intrigues me a lot, you know. So how did you come to this coaching business?
Well, I was a yoga teacher for a while, and my husband Soren is an ordained Buddhist, and so our household is very sort of at least interested in meaning of life and spiritual practice and peace.
Okay, hold on right now. What is the meaning of life? And don't say
42.
Don't say 42.
No, okay.
No, don't say that.
I didn't know if that translated to France. Okay. I have no fucking idea, actually, after all this. I mean, I think what I've really learned is, on a practical level, is to make it meaningful, that there's just no answers, and to just be present. Whenever I'm present, everything works, and whenever I'm not, nothing works. That's pretty much what it comes down to for me. I had a thought. Are you in Paris proper?
Right now I'm in Paris. Yeah.
And I'm so sorry about everything. Ugh.
Yeah, it was kind of a shock with what happened here in Paris, and and what really makes me even madder is the reaction that you get, you know, which was
it's horrible here,
which is fear-based reactions, which let's triple the security, let's have the army, let's have, you know, people with guns, and which to me it's I don't know where we're going. Obviously this is a reaction that you get when you're just scared, right? But when you look with you know, from what we have learned, it doesn't work. Violence doesn't work. We need to find another way. See, that's the EP in me, just talking, you know. We just need more love and compassion and understanding. You know, it's very hard to say that, right? And most people can, you know, just say, what is he talking about? You know, people have been killed and murdered.
Yeah.
But I don't see another way. That's the problem. I don't see another way from
right.
So I don't know if you relate to that or.
Oh my God, yes. And also, I mean, obviously perpetuating more violence, like we can see that all around us. That's how we got here. But I've been reading a little bit, you know, America's so divided between liberals and conservatives. And I've been reading a little bit about the studies of the brains of liberals and conservatives. And while I want to make a snarky joke, I won't. But...
No. I know what you're going from. Is it the article where the conservative are dumber than the liberal? Is it like this study that I've read sometime?
It's not even that,
no?
though.
Okay.
I mean, that's where I'd want to make a joke. Yeah. No, I mean, the thing that I was reading that was interesting to me was that a conservative mind comes... and I'm going to screw this up, but basically the idea was that they are there's a need for safety. Right. And so fear is just all encompassing. And so all decisions, all thoughts, in fact, it was something like they tested how quickly they chose or had a reaction to things. And it was so much faster. And it was like, there was something even like when a loud, there was like a test on a computer, and when like a loud noise came, their reaction time was faster. There were some things like that. And it was really fascinating to me, though, to see, like, when you look at it from that point of view, you sort of understand, like, okay, they're just fucking scared the same way we are, but their choice to deal with it is very, very different. And while you and I are like, love, compassion, you know, they're like, oh, hell no.
We need a song right now. We need a song right now. We need to make it. Let me grab my guitar right now. Okay.
Okay.
You conservative mind. You are very slow. Something like that, no? What do you think?
Something like that. That's good. Stop making decisions for me.
Yeah.
I have a song actually called Fuck This Shit.
But-
I have so many songs with swears in it. And I never realize it until people like you start like naming off my songs. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to clean up my act. But there's a song on YouTube called Fuck This Shit that you might like. And it's kind of being sick of everything that we're talking about right now. But the reason I asked you, if you were in Paris, is in terms of the climate change conference.
Oh.
There's an artist, and it's here. I'm going to type it on here. Brandalism is the name of the company or artist or something, and we can look it up. I have a great link to these photos of, and you may have even seen this, but on the bus stops, there's posters of things like VW, a car. And it'll say, "We lied to you."
Yeah.
But now we're corporate sponsors of this climate change conference because we want you to think that we care. And there's apparently tons. Have you seen them in real life? Have you seen them walking around?
No, I haven't seen them. I've seen the on the papers. They put all of them. But I couldn't see them. So they shouldn't be like very spread out, to be honest. But that was awesome, actually, the way that they are taking that. Right. No,
I love that, and it was activism with creativity with comedy, like all mixed in one. Here, I have the link right here, and I'm gonna send it to you.
Thank you for all the references, by the way. That's fine. I will put everything on the podcast link. What I was meant to say is how can you save the world, right? There's been something like this, and I had this question recently, and I answered by humor, right? By humor. Humor will save the world. This. What you do, this connection that you create, this, when everybody laughs, if you can laugh from yourself, about yourself, I think we are in good shape, that's the direction, so I don't know why I'm saying this.
No, I agree with you. And as a life coach though, absolutely, because when you're laughing at yourself, you are by definition stepping back to look at yourself a little more objectively, right? Is that kind of what you're saying? So that you can have some perspective. But the other thing that happens, two other things. One is that I feel like our audiences, like we just did a whole new show and a bunch of them were about like Trump and all this stuff. But so people could laugh and get re-energized to go back out and fight again. I don't use the word fight lightly, but you know what I mean, to go out and be activists again. Whereas if you're totally burnt out, you can't help anything. And then the other thing that I found, I have a friend who, his name's Lee Camp, and he has a show.
Oh, yeah. Do you know Lee Camp?
Yeah.
I love him.
Oh, he's
really?
Yeah, you should have him on. I'll give you his email.
Please. And
he and I both have talked a lot about how one of the only ways to get people to listen to this really depressing shit is to be funny, because they'll listen. Yeah.
I agree.
And he's doing a good job with that on his show.
I absolutely love him. His arty show, and I was this moment of clarity is brilliant. I wanted to open up. So if you know him, thank you, Katie. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally one of my best friends, and we do shows together all the time.
Oh, really? Okay, I need.
Yeah, well,
I need to.
Now he's just doing his show though, so he's not performing very much.
Yeah, I know. I can see now he's famous and all. He would go to opera and everything. I can see that. No, sorry. But I was talking about climate change. I'm gonna have to tell him.
You said he'd be on Oprah. That's the last thing he'd ever fucking do.
I know. Talking about climate change, actually, on our show we had a professor, which is his name is Guy McPherson, right? And
I know Guy very well. He interviewed me, and actually, we were going to go do something together. Now, Guy is like a negative Nancy.
Exactly, it's exactly that. But we had him on the show, and it started for 20 minutes, and he was telling all about, okay, we're going to die in 2030. We're all dead, and enjoy what you can. And
Yes.
after 30 minutes of that, 20 minutes of that, event change. When Tim Michaels came with like some the stupid jokes ever about the whales and whatever, and then it started something else. It's about this gallow humor that he's using, and it was really funny to just. Even with these very dark times, everything that you see around, there's this, climate change and terrorism and fear and the economy is shit but then you can laugh about that. That's the core of humanity. See, I'm going again in this very deep shit again. No, sorry, I need to stop that. I need to go a little
Well, it's funny because Guy, he found me, and he apparently plays my song "I Didn't Fuck It Up" when he speaks or something.
Oh, yeah?
And even though he's trying to get everyone to wake up about how terrible things are, and I think he actually really does feel it's all going to end, and that one should.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that.
It's funny because you'd think then he'd be like, so fuck it, let's just all enjoy things while we can, but he's not. He's like, let's. Maybe there's a hope. He wouldn't be going around speaking if he was like that depressed about it. It's interesting. It's a funny mix. He's both. He's both like tiny bit hopeful and mostly not.
No, mostly not. Mostly not.
Yeah.
But he was on Bill Nye.
Oh yeah.
There was this show that.
I know Bill Nye.
Bill
yeah.
Nye, and there was Arnold Schwarzenegger, and there was like for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Guy
Yep.
Yeah, Guy McPherson was there.
Oh, is he on that? I didn't.
Yeah, and it was like it was this moment of glory, but obviously it was at the end of the show. They said, "Well, there's hope because there's technology, right? We will save the day because technology is there." And I don't know, that's the point where I'm saying we've been in this mess because of that, because of the way that we are growing and all this. And I don't know if we can solve that by technology. I think we can solve that by. Well, if you can solve it, by the way, I'm still hopeful, by the way. I really hope that Guy is wrong, but, he's smarter than me. But we can solve that with being more human, I guess, by changing the way that we interact with each other and that consume and being more responsible, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, I don't know where I'm going. It's going very depressing, by the way. I don't know. We're talking about,
wait a minute. People are like, I thought this was going to be funny, man.
No, absolutely not. Let's talk about death, man. What do you think about death? No. But what is...
I just wrote a song, actually, called Halfway Closer to Dead, about turning 47.
Oh.
And
Tell me about that. I turned 40 in May, and I have my middle life crisis. God.
You did? I have a song for that, too.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Okay, what song haven't you written yet?
Well, I've been writing like way too many songs about aging lately because I think it's on my mind. I'll send you that one.
Well, did you write a song? That's something. Did you write a song about Donald Trump? Because
we did a spoof. I don't put these on YouTube though because of the whole parody thing. But we wrote a spoof. The song Uptown Funk, we did Uptown Trump.
Okay.
It was pretty fun.
But
it was kind of a song about like, if you can't beat them, join them. Here's what's so great about being a Republican. And it was very sarcastic, needless to say.
But it's been scary, looking this from okay, I don't know exactly how he's performing, but if you look from the news point, it looks that he will be the winner. Is it like a little bit well?
Oh,
yeah. It's scary, actually,
God.
but what's happening. So how much of a change does he have over there to get there?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm not, I never make predictions because I feel like it's useless. But it's really freaky that he is the first. He's the number one. It's just bizarre.
No, it's very bizarre. It's questioning ourselves about how, I don't know. I would say something very controversial, how smart are we really? Because it's really this alpha male, just pumping his chest and being there with his loud voice and not saying anything, by the way. There's no message behind whatever he says. And everyone seems to hear whatever they think he's saying. It's just very bizarre the way that people react.
And then it's just getting really ugly with all the anti-Muslim stuff and it's just outrageous. I just sent you a photo you can share of all of us in the Uptown Trump were throwing money in the air and we're wearing Donald Trump wigs. I don't know if you can
I can see that, yeah. I can see
Can
that.
you see that?
I can see
That's
that.
me in pink.
Okay, so actually question about money. Okay, that's it,
Yes.
How rich are you as an artist? No, okay, forget this question. No, but because
I'm doing okay. I'm not super rich. I'm doing great.
No,
but you know what? Actually, I would almost want to say something about that, just because so many people are like, I'm a starving artist, or all these things, and it's like one of the things I try to. I have some students and mentees, and one of the things I try to say is like, now, what's so incredible about now? I mean, look, you have your own podcast. People are creating their own platform constantly. And we are diversifying what we do by, we have a kids book over here and we do YouTube over here and we do performances. And like, for example, we were not getting hired by regular theaters, not because the audiences weren't coming, but because the theater owners have become so conservative. All they want to do is like Annie bullshit, kind of, just shows that are, they know, you know what I mean? The shows that they know their audience
totally
is going to be offended by. What? And
you should totally do Annie.
Yeah, I should do Annie, totally. Well, actually, one time we put on one of our websites, we were like, and if you're completely offended by us, click here. And it took you to a community theater production of Annie, if you could get tickets for. And we had more clicks on that just because people were like, what are they telling us to go see? It was very fun. But anyway, so what we started doing was producing our own show in these theaters. And they were selling out because the audience wants to come, and we were like, screw you, theater owners, we're just going to do it. And that really worked, although it's more of a risk. But then the other thing we started doing was fundraisers for like women's organizations and things like that, where we get paid, but we also bring in a tremendous amount of money for them. And that feels great. As an activist, you're like, oh my God, we just made, tens of thousands of dollars for Planned Parenthood or something like that. So that's one of the things that I love doing the most. But my point being that you just have to be creative. You can't sit around anymore and be like, what's that? Oh, I lost you. Uh-oh, I lost you. Go ahead.
Katie, are you here, Katie?
I am. Can you hear me?
Okay. Sorry, I think the connection is a little bit troublesome right now.
Sorry.
So, can you still
I was
hear
going
me?
on and on and on. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, a little bit. Let's disconnect and reconnect. Actually.
Okay.
And reconnect.
Check it. Yeah, still recording. Hi.
Hey, are you still
Hello.
here?
Okay, yes.
Yeah. It was going a little bit badly, at
Okay.
the end. There was like kind of a delay.
It's okay. I was going on and on and on anyway.
That's fine. That's perfect.
Good way to cut me off. I know your tactics.
Professional. You're a true professional. I like that. But we are not cutting, by the way. The theme of the show is the theme. Sorry, not the theme. The theme of the show is raw, authenticity, which meaning that we don't cut anything. So meaning this will be including in the show. And for instance, when we recorded the Guy McPherson podcast, Tim went to the bathrooms in the middle of it, and we still have it on the podcast. Right? So this is how we do shit.
Oh, good to know. I'm glad you tell me now. Now I'm like going back and going, what have I done?
No, it's okay. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. But I can see that we have a small delay, maybe of 1 second, between ourselves. So I don't know how we'll fix that. But anyway, well, let's continue.
Okay.
And see where we will arrive.
Okay.
So I wanted to talk to you about also your TEDx talk. You did a TEDx talk about authenticity, right? Your true voice, finding your true voice. Can you tell me a little bit about this? What it's all about?
I think so. I use the tools of improv comedy in everyday life, and the idea of using improv is that you don't have time to censor yourself. So you have to be very present and trust that everything you need is already right inside your head. And that your authentic voice is, as a creative person or just as a person, to me, that's just one of the most important things. So, for example, if you walk around all day and you are doing work or acting like a person that people approve of, because you've sort of changed yourself to get approval, then you're getting approval for something that isn't you. So that's completely not satisfying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the fact that we do that a lot as people is just sort of silly, and it wastes energy because you're just trying to get people to like something that isn't actually you. So it just doesn't even make any sense why that would be a goal. But we sort of tend to do that because as, animals, we don't want to get excluded from the pack, right? Or kicked off the island or whatever example. So I think what I'm trying to do is to help people through my workshops and my book figure out what is their authentic self, and then how do they own that, and walk around all day long. And it's not like I'm walking around, I don't care, I don't give a shit what anybody thinks of me. It's like that. It's kind of a little bit more of a mellow version. Obviously, you're not going to say ridiculous things at work that's going to get you fired all the time. Maybe occasionally when it matters. And that's not the goal exactly. But
yeah. To be honest, actually, it's interesting what you said about being authentic in the workplace, because I'm very interested about that personally.
Yeah.
Because everyone, when you go to a workplace, by the way, I'm working in corporate as well, and in the workplace, I've for 15 years now, and you wear this mask. You need to wear this mask and not be yourself. But by not being yourself, and there's lots of studies about that, you're basically cutting your creativity. And you can see that there's a new movement in corporation where they would, like Google, for instance, or Zappos, or all these companies, they will encourage their employees to be authentic, right? To show their full self, because it means that they will tap into their creativity, their aliveness, and they will be much more, happier. And if they're happy, they will be much more engaged and all these kind of things, right? So that's to me, being not authentic and wearing this mask at work, that was maybe true before. But I think what I really hope and sincerely hope, actually, with this new trend is to be much more authentic at work as well. Right? So, but do you think that will happen in the US? Do you see this happening, or is it something which is still a brand new idea?
I just did a workshop at a bank, like a major financial firm. And it was interesting because the bosses hired me, and then I worked with the employees. And there was definitely a much more open atmosphere there than I was expecting. It was also all women in the room, which changes things too. But I wondered how much they felt like they could say in front of their boss. But then the boss was hilarious. She was so great in the improv exercises, and she just kind of went for it, and so I guess they followed her suit. So if you have a culture where it says that's okay, then people are going to do that. And like you said, with Google and all the stories that are being written about those companies doing so well, it's obviously serving them and helping. But, there's I think there's a huge range. There's still obviously places where you can't say anything.
I think it's the most common, actually, the most common thing about the workplace. It's funny because I had this conversation with Alexander Kjorf, who is a consultant on happiness in the workplace.
Yeah.
And this guy was saying, and he shared my ideas about work-life balance. This concept of work-life balance. meaning that you have work in one side and you have life in the other side, meaning that work is just something which is horrible and you have to suffer all your life. And that comes really much from, this religious belief, where work has to be something painful because we are all sinful, and then we'll be free once we are dead, right? And this is. And but when you look at that, it's just silly, right? Why can't we just change that and just try to be happy? Because being happy in the workplace, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and the U.S. is founded by Puritans who are real good at that.
No, exactly, and that's so strange. And Tim was saying that to me as well. He was a coach in the UK, and he has a lot of clients coming to him because of stress at work. Right?
Yeah.
When he was in the UK. And then he moved to the US. And then absolutely none of his clients were calling him about stress at work, because for them in the US, it was a norm. It's normal to be stressed. It's normal to suffer. It's normal because it's work. And work has to be shit, kind of. You have to suffer. That's strange, as a culture. Anyway. So that's good, actually, that I'm surprised that you're hired by this big bank, financial bank, knowing that you're an activist and all this, So did you mention Lee Camp or all this kind of stuff? That you're all evil and you're
it was sort of an
hell?
apolitical one, but people are different. Like, people are just who they are anywhere where they work. But I don't really bring my politics into it when I go. But that's not really the goal. I mean, I think the goal of going in somewhere like that is, especially when I was working with all women who are going to become leaders someday, is you want them to be confident, because in my mind, confident people are often compassionate and and just helping people become better listeners, which is good for the planet no matter what. But that was unusual. I don't usually do those. I usually do workshops with just individuals who come to it, and it tends to be a slightly more self-helpy crowd.
Yeah. So what is important for you right now? What is the main objective or the main things that you're working on right now?
Right now I'm sleeping.
I just came. No, don't say that.
Well, I just came off of 6 months of just full on touring and running my camp and writing this kids book and writing a whole new show. So to be honest, this is December is so great every year because I just get to go to parties and chill out a little bit and buy Christmas and Hanukkah presents and sort of reevaluate. I think everybody needs a part of the year where they do that, where you reevaluate everything. And the good news is this year I'm not like, this isn't working, I need to change everything. This year I'm kind of like, oh, this is all kind of great. But I definitely, I want to make, we're going to be making more videos this winter. We have a new one coming out called the United States Extreme Right-Wing Cheerleading Squad. So that should be out in the next month. And so it's just ongoing like that. I'm just sort of carrying on whenever I see a new issue. We wrote a new song this year called Gay is So Last Year. That I want to do something with that about people just trying to keep up with the changes so quickly. And so there's a lot of issues that we've still never written very much about immigration, even though I really care about that issue. We actually have not written pro-choice reproductive rights stuff in a long time. We have some old pieces that we've written. We're always doing what, I don't know if this is an expression in France because you guys are all so much more sane about this than we are, but what we call sex positive material. So, like it being okay for women to say they like sex is like kind of a big deal here. So I think I want to expand our reach, for our audience. And I've actually been enjoying having people bring like their mother-in-law who's a Republican or something to a show. I don't know why they do that, but when they do it, I've had so many nice emails, and I've met a lot of people after shows who've come up and said, oh, I'm a total Republican, but I really liked a lot of what you said, even though I disagree with you on a lot of it. But I think they still appreciate the sort of strong female voice. and I think they appreciate my just making fun of the things that we all kind of agree on, like war is bad, and and let's get education better in the country, like things like that, that we can all kind of get behind. It's funny because actually, Olivia, I'm not like I'm not sure what the word is, not argumentative, but I don't like walk around being belligerent and fight people on things in my daily life. I'm actually sort of a pacifist and a peacemaker. Like, I want everyone to get along. But you wouldn't know it from the stuff we write, but it's kind of funny because people think, they're like, you should run for office. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't think of anything worse.
But I think you should.
Well, you'd be shocked at how little I actually know about the world and politics and economics. So I would actually be horrible. But I feel just really lucky lately being able to do this. And I really feel appreciative for even just things like what we're doing right now, like you and your podcast and talking to people about things you care about, just the fact that this can be heard and our material can get out there. Whereas 10, 15 years ago, there was no way to do that except to get in a car and go perform in different theaters all over the world.
That's very hopeful. Yeah. I don't know if you listen to the Joe Rogan podcast, or if you know. Well,
Joe Rogan. Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah. So Joe Rogan is very. Sorry, it's my accent.
It was.
So let me put that Joe Rogan. Okay. So
there you go.
This is exactly what he says all the time in this podcast. We are living in very, very, very interesting times where we can do this, and suddenly we are connected. You are in New York, I'm in Paris, and something is happening, and it will be heard and it will be shared. And these ideas that we're having, very progressive ideas, but they will spread, and that's hopeful. This is the hope that we're having, that we are changing this world for the better.
Yeah, and right now you've got every leader of the world in your city. We're trying to fix something, and that's pretty cool.
Hopefully it
if
would
they
come.
Do anything.
I'm not sure about this outcome, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know if it's if you share this idea, but I don't think that will happen at the political level because there's so much lobby, I think, and there's so much things. I don't know. It's very short-term sighted right now, and we need to engage. What the activists are doing, and the people are doing. This is how we can force the policy to change, I guess.
Well, I agree with you. And I also think sometimes maybe the most helpful thing to get a whole bunch of politicians together is to get the activists pissed off enough that they start doing something, and maybe that's the only thing that'll really come out of the climate change talks. But it makes people pay attention.
No, absolutely. And I think people are much more aware, even though you still have the craziest over there, still, sorry to say, but it's still in the US, where this politician throws snowballs at the anyway. So, what was the name of this politician who throw a snowball to say that climate change is not real?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so, people are much more aware, I think, and things are shifting and changing. And you are contributing a lot with that, Katie.
Thanks.
I have to say that you are helping a lot this cause, and I love you. Anyway, I will divorce my wife now. Okay,
but I will tell you, my biggest challenge emotionally in being an artist is that everything I do is indirect action, except when I work with kids at my camp. But it's indirect, and one of the hardest things for me is to wonder. And I'm glad. I appreciate you saying this because it's to wonder if anything's making any effect. Because I stand up on a stage, I say something, and I hope everybody else leaves. And the next day goes and works on it. Whereas I'm not like handing out rice in Africa, and I'm not, or wherever, and I'm not physically,
Oh, for fuck's sake, Katie, do you need a coach now, or do you want me to coach you now?
Apparently, but it's hard. It's hard for me as somebody, like, I don't get to see it, so it's hard to know and always think that it's helping.
Okay, so let me tell you an appreciation about this. You changed things in me. This is what you did. You changed something. And I shared your videos to my friends as well, and they all love you. And
Aw.
what you're doing is fucking important to me because
Oh,
the
that's
way
so. I totally didn't mean for you to let go.
no, it's really no. You need appreciation for God's sake. This is how I repay
It's
you
okay.
now.
It's okay. See, now I'm gonna pay you for this. Like, clearly,
No,
you're
no,
my new
but no,
coach.
it's true. No, but this is why I would like you to go on and don't have any doubts for God's
Okay.
sake.
Okay.
It's
I
important
promise.
what you do. It's
All
really
right.
important. And I'm not at your level. I would like to take over if you want, but I'm shit at what I'm doing with my guitar.
Maybe you can play
So you
guitar
see.
for me because I'm so terrible.
Okay, so let's make a show then. Okay, we'll make a
Okay.
record if you
Well,
want.
yeah,
Okay,
we already
fine.
have the beginning of a song.
Yeah, but Donald, what was the song again? I forgot.
I don't
Anyway,
know.
it
We
was in
taped
the
it.
in it's in the recording. Anyway, Katie, thank you.
Thank you so
It's
much.
it's you're awesome person, and I sound like I'm in love, but I'm
Oh.
truly in love with you. And keep going. Really,
Thanks. I
we
was
are.
so. This was
Yeah,
really fun, and I so appreciate hearing your enthusiasm for trying to change the world yourself. So that's been really nice.
cool. Very good. Take care, and we will make a. I hope that we'll do a show with Tim one day, and
Excellent.
maybe
I'd
with
love to.
Lee as well. Lee Camp would
That
be
would be
so
fun.
fucking cool. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
And we